From the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California, we bring you the Gimme Three podcast.
Welcome back, cinephiles, cinema lovers, and movie appreciators to the Gimme Three podcast, a series for cinephiles. The show where we discuss 3 movies connected by one theme. We've done genres, eras, filmmakers, actors, and trilogies, but sometimes you just gotta go back to the basics, you know?
That's right.
I'm your co-host, Bella F. Stratus, and I'm joined as always by my admirable co-host, Nicholas Ibarra. And today we're introducing a special new series on the podcast. So starting today, once a month for the next 26 months, you will get a Gimme Three A to Z. You're like, what the hell does that mean? Well, we'll tell you. Basically, I wanted to start a series with a very loose theme where Nick and I could essentially just pick some random movies that we wanted to share with each other, that we wanted each other to watch. And of course, we also want you guys, our lovely listeners, to share some more of your favorite movies with us as well, because, you know, that's the love language of the cinephile community, sharing our favorite films with each other, introducing each other to new obsessions, or even just holding each other accountable in checking off films from the ever-growing Letterboxd watch list. Nick, you know how bad mine is every year when we do our...
what is it, like 69,000 or something?
Something like that. So every year, I swear, every year I'm like, we go through it in our Letterboxd year in review, and you inspire me to think realistically for the next year. And then the next year comes along and my watch list is like twice as long as last year. So I guess a girl never learns.
Hey, you've got hungry eyes, Bella. What can you say?
Exactly. Yes, every month, you know, stay tuned for one episode dedicated to each letter in the alphabet. Nick and I have picked our 2 films starting with the letter A. And last week we asked you guys on our Instagram to choose the third, which was so much fun. You guys had so many amazing suggestions. So thank you for giving us such a stacked list to pull from. Like, it was genuinely really hard to choose.
It was, yeah.
So, yeah, I want to say, even if your film didn't get picked for this episode, we will most likely cover it on our show at some point or another.
Definitely.
I see all you Alien fans. We had so many Alien submissions, and rightfully so. Don't worry. I see you. Your time will come.
Your time will come. Your time will come. The reason I think we didn't pick that because it was like, oh, well, that should probably be its own episode, you know,
Right.
Aliens, Alien 3, like that's a great episode.
Exactly. Built-in trilogy right there.
Right. I do, if it's all right with you, because we received so many great suggestions. And, you know, people took the time out to message us and all this stuff. I do want to shout out some of our listeners that we didn't pick their films, but they did suggest some damn good films. So I want to give some love to our listeners. Of course, this may also piss people off because they're like, why didn't they pick that one? But don't worry, we picked a good one. Renee Linares, my aunt, she picked Aladdin.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. This was one that was really hard for me not to select because I don't know if you've seen this, but it is such a quintessential movie about making movies film. And it's called American Movie, which was suggested by Daniel Ott.
Oh, yes. I swear, I feel like you talked about this movie on one of our bonus episodes.
Like I think I did. I might have, yeah.
Because it sounded so familiar.
I might have, because I came to it late and I saw it at the Beverly. And it was one of those movies where everybody would be like, Nick, you haven't seen American Movie? Like, that is a Nick movie. And it was really hard not to pick that one. But again, Mr. Ott, Daniel Ott, who suggested that, the time will come. And maybe we'll bring Daniel Ott to discuss that movie because I know it's one of his favorites also.
Oh, yes.
Remy Noel, future Grammy winner, picked Amadeus. Of course, she picked Amadeus. She's a music lover. Great choice.
So true. Very on brand.
Emily Claxton picked The Apartment, a wonderful film, which would have been a great choice. We've discussed The Apartment. If anybody wants to hear us discuss The Apartment, check out our very first Christmas or Not episode from 2004, December 2004. We did The Apartment as one of our Christmas or Not selections. As we mentioned, we got a lot of suggestions for Alien or Aliens, including my friend Koji Yamamoto, who lives in Japan. So we got listeners in Japan. Koji Yamamoto suggested Alien. Max Sopkin suggested Airplane. Our friend and frequent guest, Max Sopkin, loves Airplane. Christelle Solano suggested Alfie, the Jude Law version. Ryan Lacen suggested Arrival, which I considered because I'm in need of a good nap.
Oh my God. Get ready for more hate mail.
Shots fired. I don't know who this person is, but their Instagram name is Mr. Rewatchability _69. Great name.
Nice. Love it.
Suggested Almost Famous.
Oh.
Great film. So again, one that we will likely get to at some point in some
Absolutely.
theme. We almost picked that for Philip Seymour Hoffman in supporting roles, but I think he's just not in it just enough for us not to pick that one. But Mr. Rewatchability _69, thanks for listening. Thanks for the suggestion. And then I'm not sure who this person is. Also, Cece Lurd. Do you know?
That's Cecily.
Okay, Cecily suggested Alice in Wonderland, and I assume she meant the Disney.
Yes.
Version. Cool. Good stuff. I gave up Acid recently, so otherwise we would have picked that one. And then Christina Kondrath suggested Amelie, which we also almost picked because, I mean, what a banger that is.
Yes.
So now can I talk about the one that we did pick?
Yes, please do.
The film that we picked, we ended up going with not only because it's a really fun movie, but the person who suggested it also came equipped with a little story. Adriana Lopez Lacen suggested Adventures in Babysitting, which is the big winner today. And Adriana said, best opening credits sequence. Cue Then He Kissed Me by The Crystals. And Adriana said, this film is such a deep part of my childhood. It's so cheesy and so fun. I also chose this song for Ryan, her husband, and I to walk up the aisle after we were pronounced married because of this movie.
That is so sweet.
And as someone who was at their wedding, I can confirm that this is true.
Oh, I love it.
So, it's like, how could you say no to that? It's like, all right, that's a fun movie. But then she comes equipped with that amazing story. And it's like, all right, got to pick that one.
No brainer.
So next month when we do the letter B and all y'all are offering up your selections, maybe accompany it with a little heartwarming story or why you love the film.
Mm-hmm.
Might get you some bonus points. So, Adriana, this one is for you. Adventures in Babysitting from 1987. Directed by Chris Columbus, his directorial debut.
Oh, wow.
Written by David Simpkins and starring the adorable and magnetic Elizabeth Shue. And Elizabeth Shue plays 17-year-old Chris Parker, who, as Adriana mentioned, is having herself a little concert just for herself and us, I suppose. Singing to the Crystals, Then He Kissed Me, as she prepares for a date with her boyfriend, Mike Todwell, a dude who has a license plate that reads, so cool. So immediately we know Chris Parker is not the sharpest spoon in the tool shed. She doesn't exactly know how to pick them. Mike has to bail on their fancy date night that they had planned for their anniversary because allegedly his sister is sick. So with the night free and her best friend Brenda, who also had plans of her own, Chris gets stuck babysitting. She has to babysit some kids from the neighborhood. What was supposed to be a romantic night has turned into a night with Chris watching 8-year-old Sarah, Sarah's 15-year-old brother Brad, who has a major crush on Chris, and Brad's best friend and horn dog Daryl. But early in the night, Chris gets a collect call from Brenda, and Brenda needs help. She is run away from home and made it all the way to the city, which is like 40 minutes away. And now she's horrified because she's at this bus stop and there's homeless people there and brown people there and black people there. It's just a nightmare. And Chris has to go help her friend. But of course, now she's got these damn kids. So she's got to take these kids with her. And thus begins a wild night out in the city, the big bad city, which involves Chris, Sam, Brad, and Daryl getting a flat tire, getting kidnapped by mobsters, getting chased by mobsters, nearly losing a toe in a gang fight, performing at a blues venue, dancing at a frat party, and scaling one of the tallest buildings in downtown Chicago.
Wow.
You know what they call all that, Bella? An adventure. This is adventures in babysitting, in fact. Bella, had you seen this film before?
No, this was my first time watching this. So thank you, Adriana, for the recommendation. Obviously, I loved this.
It's a lot of fun. It was
so great. Yeah, it was so much fun. I have to say, I have loved every single Chris Columbus film that I've watched. I haven't seen all of them, obviously, but I think he just does childhood nostalgia so well. Like, his movies literally transcend generations. Like, I didn't even grow up on this movie. This was the first time I've ever seen Adventures in Babysitting. And yet I absolutely loved it. And I felt the nostalgia of it. I felt nostalgic for something that I had never even experienced before. Maybe that's just because it's 80s and I love 80s movies. And I wish I was there to experience them in real time. But I do think this movie has some timeless qualities to it. I mean, nearly 40 years later, it's charming, it's thrilling, it's original, and it's really funny.
Yeah, Sonia and I were talking about this actually too, with just like Chris Columbus and his work. He does such a good job of making wholesome films that don't insult the intelligence of the adult audience that's watching them. But more importantly, they don't insult the intelligence of the kid and teen audiences that are watching them. Like, with this films like Home Alone or The Goonies and stuff, which the Goonies he just wrote, but he really has a respect for the young audience members that are watching his films. And I think that's why if you grew up with this film, it has stuck with you and it stood the test of time, because he really does create this wholesome content that is inclusive of all ages.
Yes. I mean, if there's one thing you'll get in an 80s kids movie, it's some not so kid friendly, but I take that back, because to your point, not Disney friendly comedy, we'll say.
Right.
But I totally agree with you. I mean, for example, so much of this movie revolves around Playboy.
Right. Yeah.
If it's not, the never ending bit of Chris having like a Playboy model doppelganger in the magazine, then it's the mob that's chasing them because they wrote their master plans in the Playboy magazine that Daryl stole from them.
Right.
It's hilarious.
I would love to see this film on the page. Like, I would love to read this screenplay, because as you're watching it, it's just like, man, every 2 minutes, it feels like they're in a new misadventure, like it does not slow down at all, which is, so, I mean, the origins of this film, the writer, David Simpkins, he was working for New World Pictures, which of course is Roger Corman's company. And he had read a copy of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And Simpkins was like, okay, there's something here. And he wanted to do a teen film kind of in the vein of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but also After Hours, which had just come out not too long before this, the Martin Scorsese joint, a story which told like a bunch of misadventures over, the course of one night. And he pitched the idea to New World, and they didn't want to make it, probably because it was like, it sounded expensive. And, Corman is just like, well, how can we get boobs into that? It's not really going to work for us. So Simpkins wrote the script and sold it to Paramount. And originally Paramount was like, they wanted only Molly Ringwald to do this movie. Molly turned it down. And I don't know how old they were, but this would have been like, I don't know how this would have worked. He says the studio then proposed Cher and Bette Midler as possible stars.
What?
It's like, listen, I love Cher. No Cher, no care. That's my motto. But I don't know if she could have pulled off. I mean, I guess she just wouldn't have been a teenager, but I don't know. That's a totally different film.
Yeah.
So thankfully, he says they saw Elizabeth Shue audition. And once they saw Elizabeth Shue audition, they knew that she was the one. And Shue had done, at this point, she'd already done Karate Kid and a few other. So Chris Columbus, this was his directorial debut. And he was kind of a hot commodity because he'd already, written The Goonies. He'd written Gremlins. So he had some pull.
Right.
So he said he reviewed 100 scripts to, decide like what was going to be his directorial debut. And he chose Adventures in Babysitting because he felt comfortable with its scale, he said. I'm like, what? The scale of this picture is massive. So credit to him, man. He really believed in himself and his abilities because this movie is all over the place in terms of locations and So, but he nailed it. He nailed it, obviously.
I had such a great time on this adventure. Like, there was really never a dull moment for me. From the get-go, I feel like we have to talk about the opening scene of the film.
Yeah.
Which is a big reason why we picked it as well with Adriana's story. And if you go on Letterboxd, literally every single review is about this opening scene.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people love it. She's so. You watch that scene, you watch her dancing her ass off, and she's singing, and it's like, man, we've all been there when we're teenagers, just singing in your room, and like nobody's looking.
Oh yeah.
From that first scene, you're just like, I love her.
Yes, exactly. Literally, exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah. You just fall in love immediately, like every other kid in the 80s who's watched Elizabeth Shue. It is such a relatable moment because she's just going all the way in on her performance of it. I love it. I've been there. I don't think I looked as good as Elizabeth Shue doing it, but relatable nonetheless.
Well, we can't say, Bella, because you can't see yourself as your name. The only way to know actually is for you to record yourself.
Oh yeah,
doing that, and then post it, and then
it's
we'll
very
know.
Gen Z. Well, yeah, Elizabeth Shue, she's amazing in this. I think the rest of the kids are so damn great too.
Oh yeah.
I also just think the sassy little sister who is 10 times smarter than like her dumbass horny older brother is one of the best sibling dynamics for this type of like genre or movie. It just always cracks me up.
It's always funny, and it's always like somewhat accurate.
Yeah, exactly. And Sarah's just, oh my God, she's the cutest on-screen little sister ever. I love her obsession with Thor. I thought that was such a great kind of random aspect to this. And I love the way they incorporate it into her outfit. Like, they don't just throw her in some goofy looking Thor costume and call it a day. Instead, she's wearing like his colors, like the bright red and blue. And of course, she's wearing like his helmet with the wings, with her frizzy Hermione hair poofing out from under it. But she looks so adorable. It's great costuming. And then production design as well. I was obsessed. We get like a glimpse of her room. Yeah. And if you loved Thor, it would be like the dream space.
Yeah. For all you Marvel nerds out there, Sarah was into Thor before Thor was hot,
Mm-hmm. She was way ahead of the game.
Way ahead of the game.
I also love how she's such a little adrenaline junkie. Like, anytime shit is hitting the fan, like the tires popping off the car on the highway, or they're in like a car chase, and she's just like, this is great. Girl.
Like, you're gonna die.
Yeah, this is not great. This is not great at all. A bullet comes flying through the window right past her head. She's like, woohoo.
Did you have a favorite scene or sequence, Bella?
Oh God, it's hard to choose, but it also isn't. I think that babysitting blues scene in
Yes.
in the bar is just, I was like, what the hell is happening right now? But at the same time, they really sold it to me. It's just so funny. Like they escape from the mob and are immediately like are let their escape route leads them to this on stage with a blues band. It's actually featuring legendary blues guitarist and singer Albert Collins,
Yep.
who's known as the master of the Telecaster.
The Iceman.
The Iceman, yes. And he's like, nobody's leaving the stage without singing the blues.
Nobody leaves without singing the blues.
So awesome. And so then, yeah, you have Elizabeth Shue kind of like talking about being a babysitter, and they're doing the da-na-na-na-na.
My name's Chris Parker. I live in Oak Park. That's a suburb.
They probably figured that out.
This is Brad, Sarah, and Daryl. And we're in trouble.
Ain't no doubt.
See, me and my boyfriend, Mike, tonight's our anniversary. But then he went and canceled, and now I'm stuck watching these three. And it's so hard.
And it's so hard.
Babysitting these guys.
She got the...
I got this call from Brenda. I went to pick her up. The tire had a blowout, and my mom's car got shot up.
And these guys started to chase us.
And we all got hijacked. We're cruising down the highway.
This big old Cadillac, and it's so hard.
It's so hard.
Babysitting these guys.
She got the baby sitting blue. Baby sitting blue.
I've got the babysitting blues.
I love the button to that scene is like they finish the song, and they're able to escape, Chris and the kids, and the mobsters have been in there the entire time, and then the mobsters like run into the blues guitarist Albert Collins, and they're about to leave, and he goes, "Nobody sings without leaving the blues, without singing the blues." It's like it's a great finish to that scene.
It's so good.
Nobody leaves without singing the blues. I got two like favorite parts.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything involving Brenda in the bus station. I find so hilarious. Like it is so tone deaf and arguably racist.
Yeah.
Not arguably, it's just racist.
Yeah.
but Penelope Ann Miller, who plays Brenda, she goes so slapstick with her performance that it just makes me laugh out loud every time. They're just like stupid, classic, like 1940s comedies, gags that just work. The homeless guy yelling at her to get out of his house when she's in the phone booth. Her getting her glasses jacked and she can't see, and then so she like ends in a later scene. She like picks up this rat because she thinks it's a kitten. I mean, it's so stupid, but it's hilarious.
I agree. Yes.
And then my other favorite part is when Brad is in the hospital because he has gotten, stabbed, or a knife has fallen on his foot.
Right.
And he's got one stitch, and he's like, "Oh man, I only got one stitch." And the doctor's like very tired and staccato. And the nurse comes in and tells the doctor, she goes, "Hey, that guy who got stabbed from the gang fight, yeah, he's dead." And the doctor just looks at her and goes, "Okay."
So good.
I laughed out loud at that part.
Yes.
I cackled.
Perfect delivery.
Speaking of that scene, actually, if I could, speaking of that scene,
Please.
if I can get angry for a second, that scene where he gets the knife falls on his foot.
Mm-hmm.
This film currently, Adventures in Babysitting, is streaming on Disney Plus right now. And let me just say, do not watch this film on Disney Plus.
Yep.
Because they butcher it. They really butcher it. Adventures in Babysitting was the first Walt Disney movie to have a PG-13 rating. Which sounds crazy, but it's not actually that crazy when you consider that the PG-13 rating didn't really start until 1984. So,
right, yeah.
So it'd only been like 3 years. But back in the day, like PG movies used to have boobies in them. And it was just, it was fantastic. Anyways. So yes, the first movie that Disney released that was rated PG-13. And it's because there's some language here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some violence here and there. Very mild violence. It's not like anything bad. It's a family film. Like, there's some bad words in there. It also makes sense. The kids are going out in the streets late night Chicago. They're running into mobsters and gangsters. Of course, there's going to be some language. It's real,
Mm-hmm.
But the best line of the film is butchered in this Disney Plus version. The scene is Chris and the kids. They find themselves stuck on this train where two rival gangs happen to be squaring off, and they're like stuck in the middle.
We'll get off at the next stop.
Now, don't you even think about getting off this train, mocoso.
Only people gonna be getting off this here train gonna be doing it in body bags.
How you sound? This is our train.
Yeah, well, your train is rolling into our turf.
So what?
So as soon as we cross Devereaux Street, you and your girl see is dead meat.
Woo! We're gonna run now.
They're gonna kill each other.
They kill us doing it.
There goes Jefferson.
Here goes Jackson.
Here comes Devereaux.
Mete mano.
Excuse me. I couldn't help but notice that you two groups of people are about to start killing each other, and I was wondering if you could please just wait on that until we could get off the train.
Sit down, bitch.
Bitch, sit down.
Are you gonna let him get away with that?
Wait a minute.
I was kidding.
That was really rude. Take it back. Apologize.
Let's stay out of this.
He called you a bitch.
Brad, shut up!
Hey, listen to the bitch, Brad.
Watch your mouth. You big city scum sucker.
And one thing leads to another, and the gang members start throwing some disrespect towards, little Miss Chris, as gang members do. And Brad steps up to her defense, and the knife falls on his foot, and we get the line from the gang member that says, "Don't fuck with the lords of hell," to which Chris responds with,
Don't fuck with the babysitter.
and it's like, man, God, what a great line. That's it. That's the line of the film. Don't fuck with the babysitter. In a single line, it's like it gets laughs, but it also encapsulates this whole journey.
Totally. Yeah.
But in the Disney Plus version, you get the line, "Don't fool with the lords of hell."
Oh my God.
And Chris responds, "Don't fool with the babysitter." And you're just like, boo.
Literally, I think I did boo at my screen because I watched this on Disney Plus. I didn't know. No one warned me.
It does say in the beginning on the Disney Plus, it says, this film will be modified from its original version. And I didn't read that it said for content.
Yeah, me either.
I just thought it was like the picture or something.
Exactly. How dare they?
I really, truly, how dare they? Truly, how dare they?
Yeah. I was telling you how you can watch Catherine Hardwicke's 13 on Disney Plus, but I can't hear "Don't fuck with the babysitter." Like, none of that makes any sense to me whatsoever.
Well, you know what they say about Disney?
Yeah.
They're stupid.
Stupid. Oh, man. Yeah, I noticed it like right. I think the first thing I noticed that it was censored was Daryl says, "You got to be shitting me." And Chris goes, "Watch your language." But in the in the censored one, he's like, "You got to be kidding me." And she's like, "Watch your language." And he's like, "You got to be kidding me." And I'm
Right.
like, "What just happened? What? He's
Yeah.
fine." So,
Yeah, well, and the other
stupid.
thing is like, well, it's like, all right, like if you're Disney and you want to, you don't want to disrespect the LGBT community, I totally understand. But like a big, through line of the film is that early in the film, Sarah's such a Thor fan.
Right.
And in the Disney Plus version, Brad calls Thor a weirdo. But in the real version, he calls him a homo.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
And that's why at the end, when they run into the Thor-looking mechanic who's played by Vincent D'Onofrio, he says, "My brother says you're a weirdo." It's like, no, my brother said you're a homo, and then that's why the reaction is you're like, man, that guy's reacting kind of intensely to him being called a weirdo.
Yeah, I was like, he is a weirdo.
So
this is a really intense reaction.
It really affects, the whole film.
Yeah, it's heavily censored, but
Heavily censored.
For no reason, too. Like, she definitely does not say fool if you're reading her lips.
Come on. It's like Chris Columbus did this amazing work not to insult the intelligence of his audience. And then Disney says, "Hold my beer. We'll insult the intelligence of your audience for you."
Literally. That's funny.
All right. Before we move on, I do have to get in these Gimme 3 letterbox reviews. Give me 3 letterbox reviews for Adventures in Babysitting.
www.letterboxd.com. 1 star. 2 stars. 3 stars. 4 stars. 5 stars.
Aaron. And Aaron has a beer mug in their name, a beer mug emoji in their name also. So already a person after my heart. Gives the film 5 stars and a heart. And she says, "Don't fuck with the babysitter. All movies should start with an Elizabeth Shue dance routine." And then she's got a whole bunch of bullet points here. A banging soundtrack, genuinely funny moments, a wardrobe that makes me jealous, an adorably nerdy Penelope Ann Miller, a superhero-obsessed little girl with a gizmo backpack who literally is the coolest and smartest person in the whole film, baby Anthony Rapp, unlikely heroes who save the day on multiple occasions, an Eat the Rich t-shirt. Nobody leaves this place without singing the blues. How could anyone not love this movie?
Oh, perfect. A perfect review.
A perfect review. Christian DeLeo gives the film 4 stars and a like, and says it's after hours, but with 80s goddess Elizabeth Shue and a trio of youngsters that she's watching over for a night. Wild city antics ensue, and things get very wacky and pretty damn dangerous. It's also the best almighty Thor-related movie that we have ever received thus far. Yeah, I said it. And finally, we got Mackenzie, who apparently is a Vincent D'Onofrio stan, or maybe even something more intense. Mackenzie gives the film 3 stars and says, "Another day, another thirst watch. Vincent is so fine as Thor. Heart emoji, heart emoji, heart emoji. He can use his hammer on me any day, if you know what I mean." Tags, movie was meh, but it's okay. Another tag, his arms. Another tag, good Lord, the arms.
Oh my God. If you've seen this movie, you know how short that scene is.
It's short. It's short, but it's memorable.
It's true. It's true. That's great.
So there you have it. Give me 3 letterboxd reviews for Adventures in Babysitting. Check out Adventures in Babysitting, everybody. But don't check it out on Disney Plus. Rent it on demand or check out your local video stores. Cinephile Video, Vidiots, Videotech if you live in the Los Angeles area. Show some love to physical media and to your local video stores.
Alrighty, on to the next. My film, starting with... Well, I didn't make this film. Sorry. My pick, starting with the letter A, is Thomas Vinterberg's Another Round. Released in 2020, this movie won the 2021 Academy Award for Best International Picture, and Thomas Vinterberg was nominated for Best Director that year as well. This is his second collaboration with Mads Mikkelsen after his utterly diabolical psychological thriller The Hunt in 2012, in which Mads also plays a teacher. If you haven't seen that film and you like movies that make you feel very uncomfortable, you should definitely check it out. It's brutal, but definitely worth the watch if that's your thing. Now, if that's not your thing, don't worry. Another Round is much less disturbing. In fact, it is a comedy. Well, a dark comedy, or a dramedy, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Mads stars alongside Thomas Bo Larsen, Magnus Milan, and Lars Renta as 4 very bored high school teachers and friends. Martin, played by Mads, is especially going through it. He hates his job, and it shows. The students and their parents literally have to have an intervention with him. His relationship with his wife is disintegrating before his very eyes, and forget about his 2 kids. There's no connection there whatsoever. Martin's kind of just falling through time. He's at the point where it's been so long since he's done anything to take control of his life that he wouldn't even know where to begin. And so he does nothing. At a 40th birthday dinner for one of his friends, they discuss the 0.05% theory, a theory inspired by the work of a psychiatrist named Finn Skårderud, who states that humans are born with a blood alcohol content deficiency that is 0.05% too low, and that maintaining a blood alcohol content of 0.05% makes one more creative, more relaxed, and confident.
Hell yes.
I believe it. So I think that would mean like 2 glasses of wine in 1 hour with 1 drink per hour to maintain it, I believe. With his job on the line, Martin is under a lot of pressure to impress, so the next day he decides to test the 0.05% theory himself at work. He takes a few big gulps from a bottle of vodka and waltzes into class, charismatic, engaging, and creative. He's on fire, the students are on fire, it's the best class he's ever taught. The school day ends and he has to come clean about his little experiment to his buddies when one of them has to drive him home. But rather than reprimanding him, the 4 men decide to test the theory themselves. To give some validity to the whole experiment besides total boredom or foolishness, they decide to write a research paper on their experience as well. And so it begins. The men start soaring in their careers and at home. Martin's reconnecting with his wife and children. Everything is going great. With their newfound success, the group decides to take the experiment even further by testing how they react to a minimum BAC of 0.10%. Believe it or not, things feel even better for them. As things are starting to look up, Martin decides it's probably time to bow out of the experiment and really focus on his family. Well, easier said than done. The 4 friends go on one final bender, testing the limits, drinking into total oblivion, which has some pretty awful outcomes, including Martin having a massive fight with his family, and they ultimately leave him. So due to major negative social events and danger of alcoholism, the study ends here. The group tries to go back to normal, some more successfully than others. Unfortunately, one of them has completely fallen into the throes of alcoholism, costing his job and eventually his life. In the end, their students all graduate and the teachers celebrate their success and honor Tommy's life with one final binge and a dance. Another Round. Nick, had you seen this one? I think you said you'd seen this one before.
Yeah, I saw it the year it came out in 2020, right? But
yeah,
that was obviously COVID time, so I saw it at home. Obviously, I wasn't able to see it on the big screen, which watched it at home again this time. But I mean, both times I thought it was just absolutely tremendous, and perhaps I even liked it more on this second go around just because I knew what was happening. So I was able to focus a little bit more on some of the details and the filmmaking aspects. And And really Mads Mikkelsen's performance, which is just so deft, dense, so much going on beneath the surface, both before they start experimenting with the drinking and after. Like even while he's drunk, you can see the emotional wheels turning beneath the surface, and it's really just hypnotic to watch.
Absolutely. Yeah, his collaboration, like his performance with the cinematography, which I loved. Shout out Sturla Brandt Groovlin, I believe. I think there's some incredible work there because, like you said, there's so much in just like his expressions, or like really minute expressions too, like, or his body language. And Martin, his character is also pretty quiet, or at least that's like how he comes off when we're first introduced to him. So there's a lot of like quiet, silent moments with him. And I love the way the camera kind of like will linger on him in these like really intimate close-ups, especially even in settings where he's with all his friends. It kind of makes you feel his isolation. And yeah, I got to really, like you said as well, I got to really notice that more the second time around. And I almost had like a different interpretation of this movie. Like, I think the first time I watched it, I was in college and I was just like, oh, hell yeah, these guys are all like drinking and just enjoying the merriness of wine and beer and whatnot. Like kind of more on the side of like the teens, I guess, in this film.
Right.
The second time around, like the dinner scene, which is like one of the earliest scenes with all four of them, you know, Martin shows up and he's like, I'm not drinking, I'm going to drive. And you're kind of like, I wonder what his relationship is with alcohol from the get-go.
Right.
And when Nikolai starts talking about like the theory and how operating at the 0.05% makes you, you know, you're more relaxed, you're poised and musical and open, more courageous in general. There's like the camera's just lingering on Martin, and there's like this flicker in his eyes. And I feel like it can go two ways. It's either intrigue or almost like a knowingness, like he already knows what that feels like. And I feel like that scene alone is so pivotal because it's where the viewer can kind of like make their own interpretation and decision on what his relationship is with alcohol before the whole experiment even begins.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, the first time it was like intrigue. And then second time around, I was kind of like, maybe there's more to it here.
Yeah, that scene is so great because, like you said, there's this subtext that is there in Mass's performance. I mean, so much, he says so little in that scene. Like,
yeah, they
will talk about, you know, how he's not doing great at work and all this stuff. And he just says, okay.
Yeah.
But
okay.
in the okays, you could like just see this pain that's happening within. But there's something else that we learn in that scene, which I think is such a like crucial part of who his character is and like the whole dynamic between him and his wife. Nicola asks, like, why don't you leave your wife if it's like not going well with her? And he says, I can't do it because she's a mother of my kids, one, but he says she took care of my father while he was dying.
Yeah.
So, you know, that he has like lost his father, which, you know, if you know dudes, they don't really deal with that kind of shit well. And B, that he's just like a guilt-ridden kind of dude. So that's where, to your point, when his eyes are like doing these things when they're talking about the drinking, I kind of took it like maybe he did actually have issues with alcoholism in the past, either before or after his father passed, because that was the only way he could deal with it. And then he like, you know, but I don't know. That's just my interpretation. But there's something, at the very least, unresolved grief dealing with the passing of his father that has resulted in, you know, this distance, not only from his work and his friends, but most importantly from his family, where he's just like totally shut himself off.
Yeah, it's so heartbreaking when you see him with his family, because there's just like, you wouldn't even know their family, the way they act around each other. And yet in his performance, he still gives you that like feeling of like, oh, I want to reach out, but I can't.
Right.
Like too much time has passed. I can't do it now. It'd be weird almost.
Right.
Which is so relatable. It's so painful. But yeah, I really love how this movie is kind of ambiguous on its take towards alcohol. Like, and I think, you know, the director, that was intentional.
Yeah.
He was saying like, I wanted it to be a survey without being moralistic and also without being an alcohol ad, which is smart.
Yeah, right. I think it's very smart and real in the fact that it shows you the wonderful things about alcohol, the terrible things about what alcohol can do.
Mm-hmm.
Combined with those, it just shows you the wonderful things about life and the painful things about life. And I think like alcohol is just, in this film, it just acts as a catalyst to sprint towards those revelations.
Yes, exactly. Because everything's heightened and more emotional and high stakes.
Right. It's funny. I was watching it yesterday, and you know the movie's starting, and they start, you know, doing a little bit of drinking, and they're doing the 0.5%. I was like, "Fucking A, I'm gonna have a drink right now." So I pour myself a little drink, you know, and I have it sitting there on the table as I'm watching it, and then shit starts going bad, and I'm like, "Oh God, I don't want this drink anymore," you know.
Right? You're like, let me switch to water. That's so true. It perfectly delivers both sides, really.
It does, yeah. I mean, you see, like, for example, the coach, the coach friend who
Tommy.
is the one who really, Tommy. He takes it too far and becomes totally belligerent at work and ends up losing his job and like shows up to a work meeting where he's like literally fucking pissed drunk, falling all over himself, and it's like uncomfortable and embarrassing. And you're just like, God damn, took it too far, dude. But you also see like that same character and the good that he did with that like liquid courage that he had and his teammates. In particular, one of the kids who they just call Specs because he wears glasses.
I love him.
It's like, you know, at the beginning, he's a loner and none of the kids like him. Tommy kind of embraces him and he's like, oh, it's all right, man. Like you're keep doing your thing and they're going to like you eventually. And he like, you know, instills some self-confidence in this little Specs. And there's one great scene where I think they're at about the like 0.81% alcohol consumption in this part. It's before it gets really off the rails. There's a soccer game going on and Specs hits a goal and he is just elated and he runs up and he hugs Tommy and all the kids swarm around Specs and they love him and his friends are there. And it's like, oh man, you know, changed this kid's, he made an impact on this kid's life, you know, early on. So,
oh God, that scene made me cry.
It's honest, you know, it's honest because, you know, I have known in my life many a drinker and oftentimes they are some of the best people I've ever known. And, you know, like they, you know, instilled a lot of confidence in me and helped me become who I am.
Like, I remember watching this movie, or all of my friends watched this movie too, because it was all COVID. So we were all like, everyone watch another round. We just watched this movie. What's everyone else watching? And everyone loved it. Like, not one person was like, oh, that movie was okay. And I think it's because, like you said, it is just such a great portrait of the highs and the lows of life. And then using alcohol as like a medium or catalyst in that sense is just so clever. It keeps it so intense and so entertaining. And then Mads Mikkelsen is just like, I think one of the greatest actors ever. Like I would watch him do anything pretty much.
And you know, once they go above that 0.5%, once they're like, hey, let's raise it up. You're just like, oh, why?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but you guys were doing so well.
No, stop. Don't.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah. And I love the way that visually they capture that like really extreme binge into oblivion, because it's the most of the movie is like very warm. warm hues and tones, and then it gets real dark in what they're going through, and also just visually. Like there's almost a vignette on them as they're like stumbling around on the ground and throwing up on themselves, and it's just like, oof, yeah, this is no longer fun.
This is not cute.
Yeah, this is not cute.
I have here 3 pieces of trivia.
Oh, great. Yes.
For another round.
I want to play a game.
Another round. So another round was based on the play by Thomas Vinterberg, who had written while working at the Berg Theater in Vienna. Additional inspiration came from Vinterberg's own daughter, Ida. I apologize. I don't know what's the correct pronunciation of that name. But she had told him all these stories of drinking culture with the Danish youth. The youth in Denmark like to get fucked up. They're like the drunkest teens in Europe. So his daughter was pressing her father to adapt his play into a film. She was actually slated to play the daughter of Martin, Mads Mikkelsen. The story was originally going to be a celebration of alcohol based on the thesis that world history would have been different without alcohol, according to Vinterberg. And he says it was a much angrier movie, that version of it. Sadly, very tragic news. 4 days into filming, Ida was killed in a car accident. And so following the tragedy, Vinterberg stated that he considered stopping the film, like he wasn't going to make it anymore, even considered to stop living. However, he decided to, thankfully, not do that, rework the script to become a little bit more life-affirming. He said it should not just be about drinking. It was about being awakened to life. So, yeah, co-writer Tobias Lindholm served as director in the week that followed the tragic incident. The film is dedicated to his daughter and was partially filmed in her classroom with her classmates.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so really powerful story there that, had it not been for her, this film probably wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
So she left something. Rest in peace. All right. That's sad. Piece of trivia number 2. That goes to the award for saddest piece of trivia we've ever discussed on the podcast.
I think so. Hey, but that's life.
That's life. That is life.
And art.
Yeah, exactly. So according to Mads Mikkelsen, there was not any alcohol involved on shooting days. I don't believe it, but that's what he says. He says offset, there was some quote unquote experimentation on what specifically would happen at 0.05%, 0.08%. There was even a little boot camp to monitor how speech and movements changed. And he said for like the next level crazy Charlie Chaplin falling over themselves stuff, the team just watched a lot of YouTube videos.
Sure.
And finally, piece of trivia number 3. Allegedly, I don't know if this is still happening. I hope it's not, but it's at some point there was talk of an American remake that was going to happen.
Oh yeah,
and it was
going to Leo.
It was going. I think Chris Rock was going to be in it.
Oh, interesting.
Thomas Vinterberg said the choice of Chris Rock is exciting.
Okay.
It'd be exciting to see what he comes up with. I am full of good expectations. But if it's shit, he'll get slapped again.
Damn. Oh, that's funny.
There you have it. Give me 3 pieces of trivia for another round.
Well, before we move on, I just would love to talk about the ending because I think it's probably one of the more iconic memorable moments of the film.
Yeah.
Like you've probably seen it on TikTok or whatnot. I think also it's interesting because it has a lot of different interpretations as well. Like I was listening to an interview with Vinterberg, and he was talking about how when Martin starts drinking again and dancing, you know, some say he's falling, but kind of back to what you were talking about where he wanted to make this a life-affirming film. He said, I say he's flying. He's getting another chance at life, another round. And I love that so much. And also the dancer in me just loves this scene so much, to see Mads Mikkelsen doing like a jazz route, like a contemporary jazz routine almost, is very surprising. And I just absolutely love it. And the song is so great. Another quote that I loved from Vinterberg was he said, you know, we shot this scene with imperfections being the thing that really makes it. And it was never performed, it was lived. And that just really resonated with me because I think that's exactly how the scene feels.
Yeah.
So good job, Vinterberg. Good job, Mass. You guys nailed that.
It's such a great way to end the film because, you know, there's hope that maybe he's going to be able to fix things with his family at the end. Yes. There's no guarantee of it, but there is hope.
Mm-hmm.
It's been one of those days, you know, where it's like you have kind of like when we were talking about the film. It's like you have all that encompasses life. Buried his friend, the pits of despair, hope that maybe he might be able to fix things with his wife, but then also just indulging, indulging in the alcohol and living in the moment with all of his students who have graduated and his other two best friends. And they are just feeling and surrounded by that joy, that euphoria that you feel sometimes when you're like at one of these like big momentous parties and you're it feels like you're goddamn flying. You feel like he's dancing.
Life, man. Life.
It's a great way to end the film. It's the best scene of the film, and it's the one that takes us home.
Yes. 100%. Absolutely. Check it out, you guys. You can stream it on Amazon. I believe it's also on Canopy. I have an LA Public Library card.
Watch it on Canopy.
I always feel better using, than
Canopy
Amazon.
Better. Yeah.
So, and it's free. So check it out. Let us know what you think. Let us know your interpretations of it. We love to hear from you guys. So.
All right, my friends, that's going to take us to a break. During that break, you're going to hear from LADFF director, Gimme Three producer, and my wife, Sonia Maru, for a segment that we call Sonia's Movie Minute. You're going to hear film suggestion from her that starts with the letter A as well. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for my suggestion of film starting with the letter A. It's Gimme Three A to Z.
Hello, I'm Sonia, and this is my Movie Minute. This week is brought to you by the letter A, and my A movie is 2021's All the World is Sleeping, starring Melissa Barrera. I was one of the producers on the film, which we shot during a warm, dry, and windy May in Las Cruces, New Mexico. I'm incredibly proud of this film and the work we all did to tell the story of Chama, a young mother who's battling generational trauma and addiction in order to be the person she wants to be and the mother that her daughter deserves. The cast is filled with incredible female performances. I remember being on set and knowing we were making something special, but seeing it in the finished film was somehow even more powerful. Making a low-budget independent film is incredibly difficult, as I'm sure you all know, and I commend anyone who succeeds at it. This film was extra special because it was financed by a New Mexico-based nonprofit run completely by women who worked with real mothers who had survived addiction and wanted to tell their stories to the world. All the World is Sleeping is available on Paramount Plus and Pluto. I highly recommend checking it out.
It's the Gimme Three podcast, everybody. It's Gimme Three A to Z. And we're talking the letter A today. I like this. It's kind of like Sesame Street, Gimme Three style, you know?
Totally.
Before the break, our audience sent us a bunch of suggestions, and we ended up going with Adriana Lopez Lacen's suggestion of Adventures in Babysitting, directed by Chris Columbus. And we also talked the Academy Award-winning film Another Round. And now we are going to bring it home with a... To me, it's not, but I guess it is a kind of lesser-known hidden gem, hidden indie gem during that time period in the late 90s, early 2000s, where indie cinema was just fucking peaking, man. It's called American Splendor, this film. It's from 2003. It's written and directed by Sherry Springer Berman and Robert Pulcini. And it's starring my favorite actor, Paul Giamatti, and Hope Davis. It is part comedy, part drama, part documentary, kind of. And American Splendor follows the life of Harvey Pekar, a down-on-his-luck file clerk who works at the VA in Cleveland. And when we're introduced to him, Harvey doesn't really got much going on in his life. His second wife has left him. He's stuck at a dead-end job. His voice is going. To put it simply, he's depressed. The only thing that really gives him some juice, some purpose, is his obsessive collecting. You know, he likes to collect jazz records. He writes reviews for jazz records, and he likes to collect comic books. And his friend, Robert Crumb, who lived in Cleveland and has now moved to San Francisco, has made a big name for himself as a comic book illustrator and artist. You probably, if you are into comics, you probably know the name Robert Crumb. Hopefully you know the name Harvey Pekar also, but Harvey's got a lot of respect for Robert Crumb. One day at work, Harvey drops a bunch of his files while he's doing his gig, and he finds the file of one man, deceased, whose occupation was file clerk. Born in Cleveland, died in Cleveland. And this is our inciting incident. And Harvey gets his ass into gear. He starts to write these crude, very shoddily drawn comics himself. But these comics are not about superheroes or fantastical characters. He writes about real life. He writes about Cleveland. He writes about himself. The comics are called American Splendor. And Robert Crumb, his buddy, loves the work and offers to illustrate the books for him, which is a huge break, and it totally sparks a comic book career for Harvey Pekar. Although it doesn't bring him the type of money where he can, like, say, quit his day job. But he does start getting notoriety, and it's an icebreaker for a new love interest, Joyce, a super political, equally neurotic as Harvey comic book fan. And quickly, the two get married. And quickly, Joyce learns that Harvey is such a fucking grouchy, angry, persistently angry, miserable fuck. Yeah.
Yep.
That, you know, so it's rocky, you know, to start. But the American Splendor books, they take Harvey and Joyce to The Late Show with David Letterman. They inspire Joyce to do her own political comic, and they take this married couple to hell and back with each other and with their artwork. As I mentioned, the film also includes some documentary style interludes and interviews with the real life Harvey Pekar, the real life Joyce, and one of Harvey's close friends, Toby. It's a very unique biopic and a film that really inspired me as a filmmaker and a writer when it came out in 2003. I saw it when it came out and was totally blown away, and it has been one of my favorites ever since.
Wow.
Bella, what were your thoughts on American Splendor?
Yes, I was also blown away. I mean, this is such a Nick movie, first and foremost.
Right,
like,
yeah. Angry
Paul
motherfuckers.
Giamatti, yeah. Paul Giamatti specifically being a miserable writer and like absolutely hilarious. I was like, oh yeah, this is Nick's movie. This movie's awesome. I actually can't believe I'd never seen it, let alone I don't think I'd heard of this movie before. I also went into it totally blind, which was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So
cool.
for a second there, I was like, oh, wait, what's going on here? And then I was like, oh, that's the real Harvey Pekar. Like, cool. So I thought it was such a creative mix of fiction and reality, but mostly just like such a creative biopic.
Yeah.
I'd never really seen anything like it. And I loved, just how much they leaned into the comic book style in every chance they get.
Yeah.
Like the opening credits are so cool. Even the way they style the interviews with the real Harvey, that whole set was so trippy. It was like 2000s minimalist pop art. It reminded me, speaking of Sesame Street, of Elmo's World.
Yeah.
Like 3D.
Right. Totally.
Which was, I don't know, it had a weird like nostalgic quality to it in that way.
Yeah, the set design for those moments where they're interviewing either the real Harvey or the real Joyce or the real Toby would be like they're basically against a white void. And then they'll have tiny set pieces here and there, a chair or just a piece of a set that was taken from the narrative version of the set to kind of like connect the two. Really, just really unique and creative. And then, as you mentioned, the comic book style, just so our viewers could picture it, is like they would use, the comic book style text pop up on the screen, like, meanwhile, this, and then they would use the medium to kind of transition from scene to scene or from shot to shot. So they would have, the character Harvey walking down the street. The camera would pull out to reveal that it was in the frame of a comic book cell. And then that camera would move over to the next comic book cell and he's walking in a different part of Cleveland. Not the first time it was done. I know at the very least they've like used that approach in Tank Girl, but it was the first time I saw it, when I was however old I was when this came out, but I was blown away by it at that time.
Yeah. I actually had forgotten until you said it that like the set pieces in the interview scenes with Harvey are from the story setting, but which was so fun because his interview scenes almost felt less like reality than the story with Giamatti,
right?
Which I thought was really interesting. Yeah, this movie, I loved this movie. I also didn't really know anything about Harvey Pekar, so it was really fun to see what he's like in his interviews, and then also see Paul Giamatti's like interpretation of this kind of intense personality, I guess. And I'm like, does Paul Giamatti just solely play miserable people who are like born miserable? Like, I don't know. I don't know that I've seen a movie with him not as this person.
He's really good at it. But it's so funny because whenever you see him in interviews, like on late shows and stuff like that, or he's so funny and he's so full of life and he seems like the nicest guy ever, but he just like likes playing these angry motherfuckers, It's like,
man, old Jewish ladies will argue forever with a cashier about anything.
These glasses.
You get behind them in line and you're gonna wait forever, man.
Because I couldn't marry them. So today,
I'm a Yid myself, and women in my family are like that, but I never got used to it. I may be cheap, but I got limits, man.
Let me explain one more time. These glasses are 6 for $2.
Wake up! Your whole life's getting eaten away with this kind of crap. What kind of existence is this? Is this all a working stiff like you can expect? You gonna suffer in silence for the rest of your life, or you gonna make a mark? Huh? Huh? Huh?
God, he's so good at it. It's just amazing. And his the wheezing voice.
Man.
I was like, how is he doing that?
I don't know. But you know what I was thinking about? So when we meet Harvey in the film, besides like a prelude where he's a kid, when we come and meet him, he's like in this doctor's office and he's lost his voice and he's like wheezing and stuff and it just sounds painful. And I was like watching it. I've watched this movie in probably 4 years, which is the longest I've probably gone without watching it. But I was thinking about, remember, I had my fucking lung wheezing issue.
Yeah, this was probably too close to home.
And I was like, oh, Jesus, and it said 1975. And I looked up how old Harvey would have been in 1975. 36 years old. And I am now 36 years old. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Well, you need a Bob Crumb to come in and cure you.
I guess you cured me, man.
I loved that scene. I also love Bob Crumb. I just want to shout out the actor. What's his name? Because, oh my God, what a performance. I could not read this man to save my life. I know that's the whole point, but I was just like, oh my God, this guy is such a strange personality. You just have no idea how he feels. He's either just really humble or actually doesn't give a shit about anything. It's really, really funny.
James Urbaniak is the actor who plays Robert Crumb. As they mentioned in this film, there is a movie about Robert Crumb also, which is worth checking out. It's called Crumb.
Oh wow, I'll definitely check that out. I really loved their relationship. I thought it was really funny because it just makes so much sense to me that they would be friends because Bob Crumb is so mellow, but he's this, fascinating illustrator for the American greeting card company and yet totally unreadable, unfazed disposition at all times. But I think that's the quality that made him kind of the perfect friend for Harvey because there wasn't enough personality there to turn him off. He was just happy to listen to Harvey's bitching and whining for hours on end. And then, of course, Crumb's oozing with this raw talent for comic book illustrations that Harvey just cannot resist, and then it inspires him to pursue his own artistry and determined not to kind of succumb to the despair of his loneliness, and then of course the monotonous job as a file clerk.
Well, they show they're what did we do when we hung out? We just listen to jazz records and read. There's a scene where they're just sitting together quietly in Harvey's apartment. He's reading a book and he's drawing, and it's
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that relationship. That is so fun. That's so good.
The film has a wonderful soundtrack because it's mostly just classic jazz because Harvey loved and collected jazz records and wrote reviews for jazz. So just wanted to shout that out.
Yeah.
If you're into jazz, real jazz, this film has a tremendous soundtrack.
Oh, it's so good. And it's pretty constant throughout, which I love as well.
Yeah.
I love a movie that does that.
And it does have an original score too. Mark Suozo wrote the film's score, but the score leans into the jazz motif. So,
oh, it's fantastic. I'm glad you shouted that out because I'm going to have to add it to my never-ending movie score playlist. I would love to shout out Hope Davis as Joyce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's great.
She's so good. From the get-go when they introduce her, I'm like, oh, I love this person. She's hilarious. I really want to understand her. And then she meets up with Harvey and it's this instant connection in the most unexpected way. They are a match. They are very much a match. Yeah. And then they introduce the real Joyce in a scene with Harvey and you're just whoa, that was perfect casting.
With her, it's great casting, and with Harvey's best friend Toby.
Oh, yes.
When you're introduced to the character in the film, you're introduced to him through the narrative lens. Mm-hmm. And the performance by Judah Friedlander, I was sorry if I mispronounced his name. I've never been able to say his name. It's too many letters. But Judah's performance as Toby Radloff is you're just okay, that is a extreme performance. I'm not sure if anybody is actually like that. And then you meet the real Toby and you're oh my God, he is actually spot on with his performance.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. And they looked I was almost doing a double take with those two. It was so perfectly cast.
Oh, what movie could possibly be worth driving 260 miles round trip for?
It's a new film called Revenge of the Nerds. It's about a group of nerd college students who are being picked on all the time by the jocks. So they decide to take revenge.
So what you're saying is you identify with those nerds?
Yes, I consider myself a nerd, and this movie has uplifted me. There's this one scene where a nerd grabs the microphone during a pep rally and announces that he is a nerd and that he is proud of it and stands up for the rights of other nerds.
Right on.
Then he asks all the kids at the pep rally who think they are nerds to come forward. So nearly everyone in the place does. That's the way the movie ends.
So the nerds won, huh?
Yes.
All right. Wow. Well, you got this movie and I'm getting hitched. We both had a good month, huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's unique. It was a Cinderella indie darling at the time. Like, I remember being such a champion for this film when I was young, because I just thought it was so special. It was originally going to air on HBO, and I think the HBO and the studio was like, I think we should put this out in theaters. They did. It was a budget of $2 million, and I think it made like 8 or 9 million at the box office. So,
wow,
it was worth it. It was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay at the Academy Awards. Like, it was one of those like indie films that like caught a little wave of heat for a while. But I think since then, because now it's been 23 years since this picture was released now, that, I think it's kind of like fallen off of people's radar, or a lot of people don't remember it or what have you. But it's always stuck with me, and it's always held a special place in my heart, to the point where I became a fan of Harvey Pekar. I've got a bunch of his collections here sitting on my bookshelf as we speak.
Way.
Yeah,
that's so cool. Well, I'm so glad you picked it for this, because I am now obsessed as well. Like, I actually turned it on again the other day, and Jonathan was like, "Isn't this the movie you watched like yesterday?" I was like, "Yeah." I just wanted to come back to it for a little bit.
It's like an odd comfort movie for me, so maybe it will become that for you. But it is like, even though like everybody is so fucking bleak and sad and sometimes angry in the film, all of that is handled in such a way that is like knowing and comedic. This is all of it, right? And it's like, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no, it felt like I never would have thought that I would watch this character, like a curmudgeon. I mean, he's like really young in this, but this type of Paul Giamatti character that we see so much, and yet like relate to him so much. I think the logline of the film is ordinary life is pretty complex stuff.
Right.
I love that so much. And there were so many lines that he had that just really hit. Like, they really hit home. He has this one that actually made me tear up a little bit, where he says, it's right after he runs into that woman from school.
Right.
And he has kind of a moment where he realizes, like, people are noticing my work. He gets all kind of like, oh, I don't actually, my life isn't as glamorous as you think it is. And she's like, well, I don't even have time to like do a lot of the things that, you're complaining about, like just reading a book because you're bored. She's like, my life is super busy. And it's almost like a wake up call.
Because she has a husband and she has kids, a family.
Exactly. She's on a different path in life. And it almost like makes him realize just what he has.
Right.
And then, they're riffing about this book that he's reading that she loves. And he gets to the end. And at the end of the book, it's like exactly what he kind of wanted, where it's like the main character just dies, and he lives long and he dies. And it's as simple as that. And yet, then he's like, I never felt more alone that whole weekend. And he's just kind of like spiraling. And there's this shot of him walking on a bridge over the highway. And he says, I was thinking about all the decades of people I've known. The more I thought, the more I felt like crying. And life seems so sweet and so sad and so hard to let go of in the end. That was like, oh my God, I'm tearing up. And then he says, but hey, man, every day is a brand new deal, right? Just keep on working and something's bound to turn up. And that I was like, I'm going to hold on to that for a while, because I feel like that is almost just like such a perfect summation of life.
Life, man. Life!
Yep.
And especially when you're going through it, like it's easy to get caught up on just like that feeling of thinking about all the different people you've come across and like wanting to, maybe have the most perfect relationship with each one. And then you can't, because life just keeps going. There's not enough time to give attention to like everything. And it's so hard to let go of that. Then you wake up the next morning and you just do it all again, So I don't know. I just wanted to give like a shout out to that, because I think it's such a small scene in the film, but I think that
it holds a lot of weight.
It holds a lot of weight. It's a testament to the film.
Yeah, that monologue is really, really poetic and really beautiful.
Oh, so good. I loved it.
Can you imagine what kind of fucking teenager I was, Bella? Because this was like my fucking... When I was 14, I was like, this guy's... I was trying to get like kids in my class to watch American Splendor. They're like, what the fuck is this boring shit? Who's this old guy?
We're like, turn on Superbad. Oh my God. Yeah, no, I see you, Nick. I understand. It's awesome. The ending is so great too. That final shot of the whole family hugging each other. I was like, I'm in tears. This is the best movie ever. So I really loved this. Thank you for picking it.
Good. I'm glad you did. I hope our audience checks it out, because it is, as I said, it's kind of like now become a hidden gem. Time flies, 20 odd years goes by, and then it's like, oh yeah, remember that tiny little movie. But it's worth checking out. And now that Paul Giamatti said, this was like came out the year before Sideways. Sideways was really the movie that like made him like a star. So this was like young Giamatti before he was a household name.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, it's worth checking out just to see a young Giamatti doing his thing. And
you'd think he's been doing it since he was born.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and he had been. He's just like was. Before this, he was doing a lot of like character parts, a lot of small supporting parts. He was getting cast a lot. He was like always the guy like behind the computer, the tech guy who is in some like FBI movie, be like, get the hell out of there, turn left, turn right, like he was like typecast as that character for like a decade, and he did a lot of that stuff. But yeah, with this and Sideways back to back were kind of like when the film world really took notice. I'd be like, man, this guy can fucking go.
Well, it's really funny. I just looked it up because the first movie I ever saw him in came out 1 year before this. And it was Big Fat Liar.
Oh yeah, there you go. And he's awesome in that too.
They turn him blue.
Right.
And he's so evil and so memorable. Like, oh my God. And I think that's really funny. That was like right before American Splendor and Sideways, which I guess now we have to talk about Big Fat Liar on the podcast at some point.
Hey, maybe next month with the letter B.
Oh my God. That's perfect. Yeah. Out of all the amazing movies that start with the letter B, we're going with Big Fat Liar.
We're just going to go A through Z, Paul Giamatti. How about that?
Oh, there you go. I bet you could do it.
At least get close to it. Yeah. American Splendor from 2003, and it is streaming currently on HBO Max. It's also a great DVD available with it, which I remember has a wonderful audio commentary on it. So check it out at your local video stores if you want to dive into that as well. Check out the works of Harvey Pekar and Joyce as well, because they've got some wonderful graphic novels and comics available, and they've passed on, both of them, but their work stays with us.
Oh, I love it. Well, that's a wrap on the letter A. Our first episode of the Gimme Three A to Z series. We had Adventures in Babysitting, Another Round, and American Splendor. 3 A+ films, in my opinion, for you to add to your watch list or revisit if you haven't seen them in a long time. Thank you, Adriana and Nick, for recommending 2 amazing movies that I had never seen and will definitely share with everyone I know. I mean, I loved all 3 of these so much. Once again, thank you to all our listeners for submitting your letter A recommendations. We love to hear from you, so please stay tuned to vote again in the next poll for episode B. We will post it on our Instagram at Gimme 3 Podcast, and that's GIMME spell out 3 podcast. Follow us, and we post some fun content on there every week as well. Also, if you want to come on the show to talk about your B movie suggestion, let us know. We love to have guests on here passionately discussing their favorite movies. It makes our day. So let us know if that's something you're interested in. And as always, thank you for the support. If you want to show even more support, here are just 3 really quick things you can do. Number 1, the easiest and possibly most important is to follow our show and set our episodes to auto-download on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. This just really helps boost our show. Number 2, you can subscribe to our Patreon for just $5 a month, where we have some bonus content for you. Or, you could simply subscribe for 1 month, get all that bonus content just as a little donation. Helps us keep the mics on. Number 3, share our episode with your friends, family, or anyone who loves movies. A quick little plug goes a long way. Alrighty, Nick, do you want to tell our lovely listeners where they can find you on the socials?
You can find me on Letterboxd on Instagram or on Blue Sky at Nicholas Ibarra. Ibarra is spelled with a Y.
And you guys can find me on Instagram at Portrait of a Cinephile or on Letterboxd at BFstratus. Thank you so much for joining us on the Gimme 3 podcast, and we'll see you at the movies.